Hi there, it's me again, Pat, and Brian the Sock Puppet. That's right. So, I have news. I got a COVID 19 vaccination appointment. Ooh, yay me! So, it's going to be for Pfizer too. That'll be interesting because I've never been infected deliberately been infected with an RNA shot before. And by the way, for those of you out there who think that has anything to do with changing your DNA and giving you superpowers, it isn't going to happen. No, that's not what's going to happen. Someday, if you're really curious, send me an email or something, I don't know, however you do that through Google or whatever you see this thing on. Ask me a question, and I'll tell you how it actually works. It's not that hard. But anyways, Brian the Sock Puppet doesn't have a clue about any of that stuff. He's mostly interested in how to get freezers that are working at minus 70 degrees, because that's about the level he functions at. Anyway, my intriguing story goes like this. So, my wife, a little while ago, who's a little older than me, decided that she was going to have an appointment. So I, of course, logged onto the computer as I am capable of doing. And as I'm doing this, I fill in her form. I get to the personal health identification number. I fill it in. I look up from the card, and there are only 4 of the 9 digits in the box. 5 of them are gone. How did this happen? I don't know. So I erase the 4 digits and I start again. And I fill them all in. Now this next thing is my fault, right? I press enter. Oops. I sent it in. Bad idea, right, Brian? So what did I get? I got a response right back. And it said, congratulations, first name, with a bunch of numbers in the middle of it. That's where the numbers went. Into the middle of the form. I should have read it again. Oh well. So I thought, I'll just get on the phone. So I phoned the number to make the reservation, and the lady was, polite as all get out. Wow, what a nice woman. And I think she must have been getting paid by the hour. Bet you pay them by the hour, and I bet you they're outsourced to India. Or were they outsourced to India, Brian? Come on, tell us. We all want to know. Do you have someone in India doing this? Did you? Did you check? I didn't. But anyways, the question I had was, the question she had is, do you want to register? And I'm like, oh no, I'm here to register my wife. And she's fine. She never asked to speak to my wife. I guess that's, accepted practice for the system and so on. So as I'm going through all of this business with her, filling in the numbers and the names, she keeps asking me, do you want to register? Do you want to register? Well, at the third time, I thought at the end of all the filling in stuff for my wife, I said, yes, okay, I'll register. Because I thought, well, she's trying to tell me that I can, right? Only reasonable. Okay, so she's an older woman, maybe I'm a spouse. And that didn't matter at all. After filling in all the questions and getting to the end of the form and finally asking me my birth date, she said, I'm sorry, you're too young. And I'm like, which part of when I told you I was too young before did you not understand? She has to be getting paid by the hour, right? It's the only thing that makes any sense, right, bonehead? Anyway, so what I'm doing next is I'm deciding it's my turn, right? So I go ahead and I start to register. Now, I have a chat with a friend of mine, and she's like, how many times did you have to register? This is all after the fact, of course. And I said, well, how many times did you? And she's like, I tried, and it's never responded. And I'm like, what? Like nothing? And she's like, yeah. And I said, well, I had to do it 3 times, and I got 2 responses. And she's like, what? So I said, here's what happened. So I went back, and I started to log in, and I started to create a new thing for myself, right? My name, my last name, my PHIN number, all this other jazz. And as I'm doing it, I get to the part where it says email address. Well, I have a sort of a default email address that I use, like probably you do too, right? Right? Yeah, see, even he has a default email address. Probably doesn't know what it is, but that's okay. I mean, who would ever want to talk to your constituents, especially if you're a highly placed person in politics? Nobody. But anyways, that's a silly question. Brian's a sock puppet. He can't type anyway. Who am I kidding? Right? Anyway, so we get down to this, and I fill it in. It comes back and it says, I'm sorry, you can't use that email address. That belongs to someone else. And I'm like, the hell has my email address got to do with it? Not my name, not my personal health identification number. Those are the things that are different about us. Not to mention our gender, I guess. But anyway, moving on. I get out one of my old aliases, and I fill everything in again from stem to gudgeon. And once again, I press send. And what does it do? Nothing. 15 minutes, that's my level of tolerance. I know if a computer doesn't do it like in 15 minutes, there's something never going to happen probably. Or if it is, it's clogged up in some buffer somewhere. So I thought, okay, to hell with that noise. I'll do it again. So this time I used a root email address. Now, for those of you who wonder what I'm talking about, there's different things called roots and aliases. So let's say, for example, John Doe at Schmo Company. John Doe at Schmo Company could also be abbreviated as JDoe. Now, JDoe is an alias in the server at Schmo Company. And that's how it works. It's really simple. It could be at, Google for all I care. It doesn't matter. You can have an alias. So, I tried using the root email address, and I used my real identification information. And you know what? It worked. So, there you go. I'm going to get a Pfizer vaccine. There's still one flaw, and you all need to know this. When you go to get your vaccination, you have to fill in a consent form. Now, you should probably read the fine print on the consent form because there's a really good chance you'll never get a second vaccine according to it. At least, that's how it reads. It's sort of like, if we ever get around to a second vaccination, blah, blah, blah. Oh, really? So, anyway, aside from the fine print, there's a really major flaw. Top of the form on the front has your name and your personal health identification number. The back of the form, or the second page of the form, more importantly for most of you, has nothing but the thing you were jabbed with. No idea who you are. So, let's pretend that you're tired. Ever been tired, Brian? Good. See, even he's been tired. I want you to pretend you're walking with a box and you're carrying it across a room. You're tired. You trip and you drop the box. And a million forms go all over the place. The sides of the box tear open. Some of the staples let go. Oops. Who does that second page belong to? Does anybody really know? Imagine you're really, really a tired person who's busy key punching stuff, and you have to leave your desk for a minute because somebody needs something. And you come back and you don't really know what you're doing. All you know is you left something turned over. Did you finish filling in the record? Well, if you don't know what the name is on the record and you can still see the guy's name on the screen, you probably just skip on to the next one. Yeah, so be careful. Put your name and PHIN on the top of both pages of the consent form before you go. Okay? Don't let 2 and 6, that's an expression for English people meaning cheap, guy here, save you money. Make it easy and safe. And if you're really smart, print it double-sided and put your name at the top. If printing double-sided isn't that easy for you, I get it. And by the way, the reason the form is the way it is, it was designed for legal paper, which nobody has used for decades. I still actually have a few files that I could actually fit in it, but realistically, I haven't used a legal-sized piece of paper in, 20 years. How about you? No, you haven't used them either. They were for lawyers. I don't know why we ever did it. Anyways, remember, put your name, both sides of the and your PHIN on both sides of your form, or both pages of your form if you print it that way. And endure. Use lots of email addresses. I think Google's going to start to hate us all, but anyway, that's life. My name's Pat Stewart. I never vote Conservative, and you shouldn't either.